What's going on, Falcon fan? This boy Ricondo come back at you with another video. So today we're going to do some roster moves from the Atlanta Falcons. Then we're going to talk about something that, honestly, guys, I'm getting kind of tired of from these national medias about the Atlanta Falcons and how they see us as a team this year. So, guys, before we get into that, if you have not already, go ahead and please subscribe to the channel. Please hit the notification bell so you know when I drop another video. Please hit like button so I know you guys like to hear what I talk about. Then please share my video throughout the YouTube universe so more people can come in and hear me talk about these Atlanta Falcons. So like I said, quick roster news. The Atlanta Falcons signed defensive tackle Eddie Goldman, formerly of the Chicago Bears. Yes, of the Chicago Bears. No, the more ties again. Hey, what can you say? Those relationships, those important, especially when you're signing a guy on a 1 year deal. Bring in, but this is actually pretty good signing. This Eddie Goldman is a prototype for the 3-4 defense. And playing defensive tackle right in the middle, run stopper. If you go watch his film, this guy does not move out the middle, plays the run well, and in a Dean Pease defense, this is actually what you want to see. He goes along with Anthony Rush and Vincent Taylor to play that defensive tackle position. This is more competition that we want to see. Arthur Smith said he was going to start adding on guys for the trenches. So this is a good signing. Last year, he started 10 games. He had 22 tackles, 1 tackle for a loss, half a sack. But if you think about a defensive tackle, somebody that's going to take on double teams and things like that, that's what you expect. Somebody, not a whole lot of statistical numbers there, but if you're looking at somebody's going to take up 2 blocks, that'll free somebody like a Grady Jarrett up, open up those spaces for the linebackers to come in and make plays like they're supposed to. That's the kind of things you want to see. You don't want those offensive linemen to get up to the second level and start putting pass on your linebackers where your linebackers can't make plays. So that's what I like about this signing for Eddie Goldman. It's perfect for Dean Pease defense. And you just love the competition bringing in against somebody like Anthony Rush and Vincent Taylor. So once again, good signing by the Atlanta Falcons. It's really going to see what they're going to actually. I don't think they're done because we still have all those receivers out there. And to actually to sign Eddie Goldman to this contract, they actually had to release somebody to stay at that 90-man limit for the roster, and they released safety Brad Hawkins. So somebody that I thought was a fringe guy anyway. Of course, you know I did not put him on my 53-man roster at safety, but somebody I liked. I thought he hits hard. That I thought could have some promise. Maybe he comes back, on the practice squad. He can get picked up for another team, maybe. But like I said, you can only have 90 guys on the roster going to training camp, and defensive backfield was full. That receiver room is still full. So we're going to see if they bring in some offensive linemen for the trenches as well. And then you could probably see some receivers or something like that get released to help out those signings. So stand by. Still got a couple of weeks away before training camp start. I can't wait. I know you guys can't wait. All right, let's go into my next topic, which, like I said, at this point, I mean, what you expect from these other sports outlets. So ESPN did their roster rankings for all 32 teams in NFL, and yes, you guessed it, they put Atlanta Falcons roster at 31, the 31st worst roster in the NFL, and I just don't understand how they went and looked at our roster and decided that we had the 31st worst roster in NFL. So, I mean, this is the reason why there's a lot of Atlanta Falcon content creators out here trying to go out and repping our own team because we get no love. If you just went off things like this, You would have no hope for this season because according to ESPN, we got the 31st worst roster in the NFL. So why should we even need to go to any games? I just don't understand their logic for this. And if you look at the reason they had for us to be the 31st roster because of our defensive line, um, it just goes to show they don't even watch the Falcons because if anything, you would have said the offensive line, but you said the defensive line, and they use that Grady Jarrett don't have any help on the defensive line, and yes, we don't have the big name guys um, that everybody knows in NFL, but we have quality guys, especially on our defensive line, and I just don't understand how these guys just decide that the Atlanta Falcon has the 31st worst roster in the NFL. I mean, they put the Chicago Bears over us. I just don't get it. I mean, you just look at it. So we upgraded on the defensive line. We just talked about it. Um, we brought in Vincent Taylor and Eddie Goldman. We got rid of players like Tyler Davidson, Steven Means. You see what I'm saying? I just don't understand how that's an upgrade. So our defensive line is actually better than it was last year. We upgraded our receiver position. We know our receiver position was putrid last year. I mean, only player that's back from that receiving core is Olamide Zaccheaus. Frank Darby didn't even get any play, so Zaccheaus is the only guy that's back. We revamped the whole wide receiver room. Yes, a lot of these guys are journeymen. We got a rookie receiver, but based off paper, I just believe we upgraded our receiver room, our defensive backfield. That was one thing they did mention. Um, to say we had a great cornerback duo, we know that, but it's not just our cornerbacks. Our two young safeties that we got, our slot corner Isaiah Oliver, I think who's going to be good this year, and our depth at those positions, at cornerback and safety. So our defensive backfield is an upgrade than it was last year. Our running back position. I mean, let's go. We got drafted a guy who had 23 touchdowns last year, 1,600 yards. It's just a bowling ball. We bought one of the best players that from a offensive standpoint last year, and Cordell Patterson brought him back to the team. I mean, Damon Williams, Super Bowl winner, last couple of years. I mean, things like this. So we have the upgrade on running back as well. Now, if you want to look at some positions that you could think about that maybe could that could have some question marks on our roster, and I'm tracking the linebackers. I think we kind of stay even with the linebacker. Yes, we lost the league leader in tackles last year, Foye Olakun, but it's not like Foye Olakun was like Derrick Brooks or Zach Thomas or Brian Urlacher. You see what I'm saying? It's not like he was one Luke Kuechly. He wasn't like that. He wasn't like that. He had a great year in tackles, but I attribute that more to our defensive line play because he had so many tackles because all the defensive line wasn't stopping anybody, which we got rid of some of those guys on that defensive line. So think about that. Our pass rush is. I mean, yes, we haven't seen these guys in action yet. We haven't seen Ebiketie. We haven't seen D'Angelo Malone. We haven't seen Lorenzo Carter in a Falcons uniform. But I can promise you this: our pass rush is gonna be better this year. I talked about Ogundeji the other day. His year two is gonna be better than it was in year one. Our pass rush is better. Now, the two positions that I'm tracking with you guys. If we're gonna hold these two positions and put a question mark up, we can. Right? We don't know what to expect. Our quarterback position, yes, we did get worse in that quarterback position. I'm not saying Marcus Mariota and Desmond Ritter is not going to be good this year. We just don't know. I think that's an unknown for us right now. We haven't seen Marcus Mariota start for 2 years, right? We haven't seen Desmond Ritter as a starter in the NFL. So that's just the unknown for that position. I really believe that these guys are going to play well this year, especially the kind of offense that they're going to be running with Arthur Smith. The scheme is going to be tailored well towards their skill set. So I'm tracking that. I think that Desmond Ridder and Marcus Mariota both is going to play well this year. But it's just unknown for our quarterback position. And then last but not least, like I said, if they wanted to say that we had one of the worst rosters, they could have used the offensive line as the reason why. Because our offensive line, let's be honest, it's a work in progress. We got two good guys on the offensive line, and Christian Lindstrom and Jake Matthews. The other guys, we don't have any solidified positions or three spots. But I think the guys that they brought in, um, the Jermaine Fetties, the Wilkinsons, the Schaefers, the Gossiks, Drew Dahlman, these guys is going to push these other guys, the starters from last year, to be better. I really believe that. And I think our offensive line is going to be better this year. But to just to go and say we got the second worst offense, I mean, first worst roster in the NFL, just I think a stretch. And I really believe from a, a national media standpoint, these guys just don't watch the Atlanta Falcons. You know, they go off the big names. Like I said, if you just go off big name guys, you only be talking about like 4 or 5 teams in the NFL, which in reality, that's all they talk about, 4 or 5 teams in NFL. And like some of those teams they talk about, like I mentioned on my live last week, was the Cowboys, who haven't did anything but just be the Cowboys. They haven't did anything in years, but they always talking about the Cowboys. I get it. Those fan bases are bigger. They, they got a good fan base, the big name, and things like that. But if to me, if you're gonna try to be objective and look at each team as it is, and be fair, I mean, you're just looking at the Falcons, and it just the 31st worst roster in the NFL. I just it kind of irks me a little bit because as a fan, we follow this team. We know the players we got on this team. We know the coaching staff we got. We see the potential that this team actually can be. Yes, it's a lot of guys on a 1 year contract, but I think it was some great signings by Terry Fontenot and his team this year. I think our coaching staff is definitely going to be have these guys ready to play. And in our young draftees, our two draft classes we don't have this regime, it's definitely going to be affected this year. Our guys from last year and these guys from this year. So I'm not going to say that we in the top 10 of rosters, but can we at least be top 20? Why we got to be the 31st worst roster in the NFL? Um, and I can just go down rosters and call out other players on teams and say he's not better than our guy. And we could play that game, but I'm just trying to figure out how um whoever this guy who came up with this, our girl who came up with this ranking for the worst NFL rosters in the league, how they came up with that. And like I said, the reasoning they utilize our defensive line just don't make no sense. Um, so guys, you just give me your thoughts on that. Let me know what you think about. Um, like I said, the ESPN, the Fox guys, all these guys always punching down on the Falcons and not giving us any due because they don't know nothing about our team. Let's be honest. They probably couldn't even tell you who was the third wide receiver on the team, who was our slot corner. They couldn't tell you that. But then they'll get up and rank our team like they watch these guys every day. But that's why we're here, guys. You come listen to myself, other content creators who's gonna give you what we see every day, what we hear every other day from the reports, the media, the guys, the interviews from the head coaches to the other coaches, the um the general manager. We're gonna hear all these things, what we're trying to build here in Atlanta, so we can give a better perspective on the outlook of this team going into 2022. So just let me know what you think. And That's all I have today. Good signing by the Falcons. Good luck to Brad Hawkins, his football career. And this is your boy Ricondo coming back at you with another video. Peace.